good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're watching us from. Welcome again to yet another webinar series from Starkey Africa. My name is Eva Mwangi. I'm sure by now I am a familiar face. I work here at Starkey Africa as a senior audiologist, education and training. And today I am joined by my teammates, very amazing, wonderful people. Today's webinar, we shall be talking about, let's talk hearing health. So we have over the years improved the fitting experience for you and your patients. And in this webinar, we're going to discover the best fitting practices for Starkey hearing aids, especially the Evolv AI. We'd like to discover how to help your patients utilize our cutting edge technology like the Fall Alert, the Edge Mode, the Thrive app, the telehealth. Again, my name is Eva Mwangi. I will be one of your panelists, moderating and also speaking on today's Q&A session. I work as a senior audiologist, education and training here at Starkey Africa. I've been serving in the hearing health industry for the last 10 years now. Very exciting. I am passionate in educating you, the professionals, on the best practices regarding hearing health, hearing aid fitting, and last but not least, I love music. I have great passion in, I think I've been singing since I was 5 years old. And I am joined today with our panelists. First panelist, Dr. Joseph Garcia. He's also now a familiar face, part of our team. He works in our Mexico facility as a regional training manager for Latin America and Africa. Joe has 21 good years of experience in the hearing health industry, and I have known him for about 4 years now. And one thing I really admire the most about Joe is his great personality and his passion in helping us, the hearing professionals, strengthen our fitting abilities. And he does this through a lot of content creation in the training programs that he has. He is also very passionate about music, and he plays the guitar, the keyboard, and he's a songwriter. And then we also have one more panelist joining us today. His name is Dennis Tunya. Welcome, Dennis. Dennis works at Starkey Africa as a hearing instrument specialist and our trainer here at Starkey Africa. He has over 4 years of experience in providing hearing health services to patients across the continent. He is passionate about providing exceptional care and devising treatment plans for individuals dealing with hearing loss and other hearing-related problems. And I must say that he's also very passionate in music as well. He plays the bass guitar. He's been an instrumentalist in a band for many years. So I must say, ladies and gentlemen, we are not only hearing professionals, but we are also musicians. So welcome, Joe.
Wow,
welcome.
wow. That is
Welcome,
amazing.
Dennis.
I can't believe we're all musicians. I didn't know this. So we should get together. We should get together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We should do that.
And make some music.
I think we are full band already. If you ask me, we're a full band. Yeah. We can definitely do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And well, that just goes to show that we absolutely love sound. We love nice, beautiful sound, and we love creating sound. And as audiologists and hearing instrument specialists, that's what we do for our patients. We create sound, and each sound is very different for each one, depending on their hearing loss and their perception, their psychological perception of sound. And so, if you love music, I think that fitting hearing aids is right down your alley. So I think that's wonderful as well. And so thank you so much for inviting me again, Ava and Dennis and the whole Starkey Africa team. We are here to help you, to help our customers, to help our beloved customers in fitting our technology. Because in the beginning, it might be hard, but I promise you, I promise everyone, I promise all of our customers that are here that fitting hearing aids is very easy, but you just need the information. So that's what we're here for. That's what this team is for. We're here to answer your questions and show you that creating the sound is just like learning an instrument, or learning how to control your own instrument. And it takes a little bit of time, it takes a little bit of practice, and it also takes somebody to guide you. So that's what we're here for. We have a lot of experience, and we're ready to get started.
Great. Thank you so much, Joe. So we will begin straight ahead. We've received a couple of questions so far. Very commonly asked question that I must say people are really curious about is on the edge mode. Okay, and we'll just look at what really is the edge mode. We'll look at what are the benefits, at what point do you demonstrate the edge mode to the patients, and when do you really recognize when the edge mode is needed. And,
yeah, I think Ava, you know, in order to understand, you know, if our dear customers understand edge mode, we've got a little poll for you that I'd love for everybody to answer. So I'm going to launch this here, and you'll see this on the screen. I'll give you a few seconds to answer. But if you could answer, do you enable edge mode for your patients? Go ahead and answer on the poll here. We've got three answers. Yes, it's amazing. No, I don't think it's beneficial. And the third one is, what is edge mode? I have no clue. So go ahead and answer, and right on your screen there, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it. So, you know, I think we've got you know, 3 answers up right away.
yes.
And it's interesting because this question, Ava and Dennis, this question is asked all over the world. You know, I've talked to many professionals around the world. Hey, Joe, you know, it's you know, I was in Dominican Republic not too long ago, speaking to our Caribbean customers there, and also some American customers that came down, and they were asking, you know, edge mode sounds pretty cool, but what exactly is it? And so, you know, looking at the poll here, we can see that 3 of 8 think it's amazing, 2 think that it's not beneficial, and then 3 others are not sure what edge mode is. So why don't we talk about it? Let's talk about what edge mode is. I'll share the results here. But as you can see, you know, there's a little bit of confusion as far as edge mode goes. So I'm going to talk to you from the standpoint of a patient. I am a patient. I wear hearing aids. I have a hearing loss. And I'm 47 years old. 3 weeks ago, I turned 47. They're 47 years old, Ava and Dennis. So, you know, my hearing is starting. It's starting to creep up. You know, it's starting to degrade a little bit, especially in the high frequencies. And the reason for that is because, you know, starting off as a very young audiologist, I became an audiologist when I was about 23, 24 years old. I tested hearing aids for a long time. They were analog hearing aids. And after testing hearing aids for such a long time, you know, there's a high-powered hearing aids because I work with a pediatric population. I damaged my hearing. And today, I can't hear a noise. It's very difficult for me to understand the noise. I can hear, but I can't understand. And so for me, it's always been difficult with hearing aids because for a long time, hearing aids would amplify everything. You know, it would not discriminate between noise and speech, and that was very difficult for me. So I, for a long time, would still struggle a little bit of noise, especially with a lot of noise. So, you know, it's just as it is in Africa. In Mexico is the same way, where we get together with family. There's a lot of noise, there's music, there's all these different sounds, and you know, somebody's trying to talk to you. It's hard for me. So even with the hearing aids, you know, I would have to maybe turn them down because, you know, it's just a little bit too loud. But today with my hearing aids, it's much easier. I have some Evolv AI hearing aids, 2400s. And let me tell you, you know, it's a whole different thing. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about edge mode. I'm going to share my screen. Let's go here to my screen, and we'll share it. So absolutely, I think that that edge mode is wonderful. So edge mode, what is edge mode? Edge mode is a noise management feature that is driven by us, the patient. So we turn it on and we turn it off whenever we need it or whenever we don't need it. We're going to talk about, how do we engage edge mode, and then what are the benefits and all these other things. So we have some slides here, but I'd like to talk to you just directly from my experience as a user. And basically, edge mode, which exists in the 1600, the 2000, and the 2400 technology levels, is a tool that I have in my arsenal that Evolv gives me, that allows me to understand speech better in noise. So when there is acceptable noise. And what is acceptable noise? Acceptable noise is when there's some background noise and it's not too loud. You're having a conversation with my wife, for example, and she's talking to me, I'm understanding her with my hearing aids perfectly fine. But there comes a point in some situations where the noise just gets louder and louder and louder and louder. And there comes a point where I just can't understand her anymore, even with my awesome 2400 hearing aids. So I have the option to turn on edge mode when it just becomes way too noisy. And it gives me that edge. That's why it's called edge mode. It gives you the edge to keep on understanding in that noisy environment. So it's sort of like this James Bond feature. That's one of my favorite movies, those James Bond movies, or any of these other action superhero movies where, Batman has all these other gadgets as well. Well, I have edge mode, and in that sense, I can turn it on, and it allows me to understand my wife, and it's important to understand my wife because that's part of keeping a good relationship. and I can continue understanding her, and if my hearing aids would not have edge mode, I would not have that tool. I would not have the ability. And the consequences of that is, you know what, honey, we're going to have to stop the conversation. Let's go somewhere else. Or I just disconnect, and that's not a good thing. And for a lot of our patients, that's the thing. When should we activate edge mode? Only when we need it, and I think that a lot of times people think that it's not beneficial, because when you activate it in a quiet environment or a not too noisy environment, the sound is very different. The sound is, some people even call it noisier, right? And the reason for that is because it's not made to be activated in a quiet environment. It should be activated only in a challenging environment. Because what happens is that the hearing aid drives that processor to 100%, just like your computer when you open up a very heavy software like a video editing software. It puts your processor in full mode, and it's draining battery. So yeah, that's one of the reasons that we don't activate it all the time. So two reasons. One is, in a normal environment, in a quiet environment, or a semi noisy environment, we don't want to activate it. We only want to activate it when it's necessary, when it's very challenging. I'm just like, you know what, I can't understand anymore, let me activate it. And that's when you're going to do it. And then the second reason is, energy management. So you want to make sure that you don't have these this feature on all the time, because it'll drain the battery, right? Now, the other thing is that we have to understand that it uses artificial intelligence to scan the environment and understand what's going on, and then use that so that it can clear up the noise a little bit and keep the person's voice, that the person that you're speaking to, audible, right? Now, the other thing that a lot of people ask me is, so, Joe, when I activate edge mode, the noise doesn't disappear. No, it doesn't disappear. It's not going to magically just disappear everything and keep the voice there. No, it lowers the noise level sufficiently enough so that I can continue understanding. Now, there's a caveat to this. My speech discrimination scores in quiet are fantastic. They're 100%. So that's important. So if you have somebody that's discriminating 40, 30%, 60%, those really low numbers, you can't expect edge mode to create miracles. That's the brain, and that's not what's going on. Remember, hearing aids only create the sound, and then the brain is going to do whatever it needs to do with it in order to have the opportunity to understand. So there's a lot of things that we need to understand. It's not just that edge mode is the superhero thing. The brain needs to be in the right it needs to be healthy. It has to have nice and good, healthy neural connections to the auditory cortex in order for this to function right. But let me tell you that it is absolutely wonderful. It does reduce listening effort. It is it takes over hearing memories. So you don't need programs. You don't need memories for things like restaurant feature or multitude or all these other memories that exists within hearing aids. You don't need none of that. If you have edge mode, you just activate edge mode in a tough environment. You don't need to program memories, and you're done. So it makes everything very easier. And as an audiologist, and Dennis and Ava, let me know if you agree with this, but when I am going to recommend something to a patient, I recommend a 1600 or a 2000 or a 2400. Recommend. It doesn't mean that that's what the patient is going to buy, because they might not be able to afford it, and that's okay. But it needs to be my recommendation. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Mr. Joe, that's actually really good. It's a great way to look at it, because Joe, edge mode is available from the 1600 channels of the Evolv AI. Obviously, as you are targeting the whole issue of giving clarity, you're giving it not in the normal and regular sort of environment. As you have mentioned before, edge mode is all about giving them an edge when it comes to listening in challenging hearing environment. I'm reminded of the fact that men love football and it's football season. So whenever you give an edge mode, especially in this point in time, it's like you're gifting them both the gift of hearing and such an awesome experience at the football area, because whenever they go, the men step out to go watch football, perhaps on a Sunday afternoon, because of the noise in the football arena, perhaps they are watching it on a huge screen over a cup of whatever, or a bottle of whatever, they are able to enjoy more. Yeah, so it's you would be gifting your patient if you give them more clarity in the 1600s, and of course you allow them an opportunity to even have a better experience with the edge mode.
Dennis,
Yes.
that's wonderful. I like this, the gift. Remember, that's our job. Our job, this person is coming in with a hearing loss, and our job is to make sure that they have all the possibilities to understand, especially in noise, because that's the problem. That's the issue. The issue is not in quiet normally with most patients. What do you think, Ava?
I think that's true. And for me, I'm being reminded of friendly AI. We want to make artificial intelligence also be very friendly to the patient. And I think having the edge mode has really utilized that, because you find at their fingertips, whether they're using the Thrive app, maybe they don't want the people around them to see them doing the double tap on their hearing aid. They could just access that edge mode on their phone and they'd be able to engage it. And therefore, in their fingertips, they gain the clarity, they gain the audibility that they desire, and also the comfort. And that's really what we want to utilize at the end of the day when we give them that hearing aid.
Absolutely, and again, let's be realistic, right? If you have bad speech discrimination scores, well, edge mode is not going to be this godsend. It's not a miracle. But for most patients, it's going to be something that they absolutely deserve to have. And again, going back to your recommendation, our job is not to sell. Our job is to help people hear better, right? And through that, yes, you do make money, of course, but our priority is to make sure that they're hearing well and that they have the best opportunities. And then, our bank account fills up. That's the nice part as well, right? That's the nice part as well. When you work with your heart and you work to make sure that people are taking the most benefit from the hearing aids that they invested in, then people will say, hey, let's go to Dr. Dennis. I want him to fit my mother, and I want him to fit my aunt, and they tell their friends, and because they feel the caring and they feel the professionalism and the professional recommendation. So absolutely right. Yeah.
Exactly. So for our participants, we'd like to hear your experience on edge mode. How has it benefited your patients? We'd like to hear from you. If you also have a question regarding edge mode, please ask away. We're here for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anything in the chat?
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet in the chat. Okay. Well, you know, it's again, we're open to questions. If you have any questions, even if it's not about edge mode, please go ahead and ask. You can do that in the chat, or you can open up your mic, you know, and say, hey, I want to ask a question. Absolutely, please go ahead and do that, because you know, this area, this spot, this event, this webinar is for you. So you have 3 brains here that you can pick and get ideas from.
Okay, very good question here from Farahab. She's asking, how do I know when to introduce edge mode to a patient?
When to introduce edge mode to the patient. So you want to do this. You don't want to talk about technology during your visit. So, you know, when I have a patient, when I have a new patient, and let me know if you guys do it the same, but I concentrate on their questions, you know, in regards to hearing. So first of all, you know, how does hearing work? You know, why do I have a hearing loss? What happened? You know, what can I do about it? And then you know, I say, well, we can help you, you know, through a program, you know, that that has a cost, and this program is designed so that we can rehabilitate your hearing. And part of that program is, you know, the testing, and, you know, doing all the work, and, you know, also the devices that you need to hear better. So, you know, the devices that I recommend for you, if you were my patient, is a device that's called an Evolv hearing aid. I'm not going to go into deep detail about it, but this program costs, you know, whatever, $2,000, and it's something that that I recommend as your audiologist. You know, it's my responsibility to help you. And when we and so this is what I recommend. I don't say tiers or anything like this. I don't talk about, you know, 2400s, or I don't say pricing about the different tiers of technology. I just say, this is what I recommend. This is the price. And they can accept it. And if they say no, then I can work with the technology level, right? So, and then, you know, once, and one of the reasons that I say this is what I recommend is it has the tools that I need, and it has the tools that you need to have the optimal opportunity to, excuse me, to understand speech and noise, right? And once they say yes, you know, then we can go on from there and start talking about technology. So really, all these tools, we talk about them after they commit to the rehab. So that's important. You know, you don't want to talk about technology during the consult, unless they ask about it. Of course, if they're younger patients, they're going to care. But I would say 90% of patients don't care. They just want help. And I tell them, I can help you. There's I have the tools. This is what you need, and this is what I recommend. I can't afford it. All right. So we start coming down, and then at the bottom, once we go below a 1600, then I say, okay, you know, this is not what I recommend, but I do recommend amplification, and you need it. It's better to have something rather than nothing. And these are very good. They don't have all the tools that we need for hearing and noise, but it absolutely, it's going to help you understand better. You know, it's better than having absolutely nothing. So a lot of people will say, well, gosh, I really want this, but this is what I can afford. Maybe I'll make a little extra effort to get this, or definitely I can't get this and I'll get this, and that's it, right? So that's how I work with.
Yeah. I think something else I can add, Joe, is also you notice when your patients come back, or, you know, they tend to express difficulty. If they're expressing difficulty in understanding speech in those complex, noisy situations, then that would also be a very good time for you to demonstrate the edge mode.
Absolutely.
And yeah, when they complain of audibility, clarity issues, especially in those very difficult situations, then you can definitely introduce the edge mode to them and have them experience it and then love it. We also have Pauline asking, she missed it at the beginning.
Yeah.
She's asking us to describe what is edge mode again.
Paulina, we're recording this. We're recording this webinar. We'll have it. It's going to take another 15 minutes to describe it again, but we'll have this recorded for you and up on our YouTube channel tomorrow. So
all right, absolutely.
Expect it to. Yep.
Thank you, Dr. Joe. I think just to be able to give Paulina an idea of what typically
Absolutely.
what we're saying.
So go ahead, Dennis.
Paulina,
go ahead.
So EdgeMod is a module within the Starkey hearing technology. I mean, the hearing instruments that enables your patient to be able to hear in challenging listening environments. That is as easily put as done as that. So, for instance, if a patient comes to you and they say that whenever I am in a particular sort of noisy environment, for instance, if a patient is a fan of football, they want to go watch football in a stadium. They say they have a problem hearing people within the stadium. You can suggest it to them that they can engage what we call EdgeMod through double tapping of the hearing aids within our premium technology of hearing aids, or they can engage it through the app, and then they can be able to hear better. Typically how it works, it reduces on the background noise so that the person using the hearing aids is able to hear better in such challenging environments. I hope that helps Paulina for now. For more, tomorrow, YouTube.
Exactly. We still have one more question. Which hearing aids have the edge mode? I'll answer that. So when Evolv AI, between the 16 channel going up to the 24 channel, they have the access to edge mode, and it can be accessed either through the Thrive app, and with the 24 channel, they can get it either through the double tap user control or the Thrive app. For our previous technologies, we had this edge mode in the Livio Edge AI. So with that, they can be able to still get the edge mode functionality. Great. So keep coming with the questions as we continue to answer them. I think one more frequently asked question we had, Dr. Joe, was about the telehealth. You know, we've had audiology as a practice also evolving, and we've had, periods where we were through a pandemic, periods where we had to work from home and see our patients from home, and we introduced a feature in our hearing aids called the telehealth. And so we have a poll there. I would like you to, answer. Have you used telehealth with your patients before? So we have 3 choices there. Yes, it saves time. No, it is too confusing. And the third option is I don't know. We have not had this. So we are going to discuss on the telehealth. Is Joe with us?
I'm here.
Oh, I couldn't see you.
All right. Yeah, telehealth. Telehealth is, telehealth is one of those features that, and I'm looking at the results here, and I'll show them in a second. Yeah. But telehealth is one of those features that I wish we had for a long time. When I was a child, I used to love watching movies and shows like Star Wars and Star Trek and all of these futuristic movies. There was this cartoon called The Jetsons, all these different things that would show how, you could talk to somebody on a screen like we're doing right now, but that was all a dream. That was something that was not even registering in my mind. And today I can connect to my friends in Nairobi and Africa, all over Africa, and absolutely have this wonderful webinar. And the reason why I say we had this a long time ago is because, for me, going to the doctor is something that absolutely scares me to death. It scares me. I have this white coat, lab coat syndrome where, if I go to have my pressure tested, my blood pressure tested, it's going to be off the charts because I'm already just super anxious. And for a lot of people, it's the same way. So what better than to be in the comfort of your home, and having these conversations with doctors and about your health and having these consultations, which is really helpful. With telehealth, it's very similar, in the sense that our patients need, a lot of times demand service right away, especially when, you know, the hearing aid is not sounding right, and especially when loud noises are just absolutely terrible. And they say, you know, when the water's running, or when plates are hitting each other, or when the dog's barking, or the child's crying, it's absolutely just so difficult for me to wear my hearing aids, and I take them off. So if the patient has, you know, if the patient has a cell phone, a compatible cell phone with our hearing aids, and we have Inspire, the latest version of Inspire, we can connect real time to our patients, see them on the screen, on our Inspire screen, and have a conversation with them. Hey, Ava, what's going on with your hearing aids? And you'll say, you know, these loud sounds, I can't stand them. All right, so I'm connected to your hearing aids. Let me make some adjustments, bring some plates over, and we can test. So, you know, I'll lower the MPO just a bit on the peak, lower it, make the test. It's still painful, lower it a little bit more, and then it comes to a point where it's okay, now it's better. You know, Ava might be in Nairobi. I'm here in Mexico City. She bought her hearing aids here with me, and I take care of her. So, you know, she's over there. I'm doing everything that I need to do right away, and that's something that patients absolutely love. Now, yeah, let me show you the results of the poll then. So we've got yes, it helps saves time. No, it's too confusing. And the third one is I didn't know we had this option. So we have you know, 5 of our customers say we don't know, and then 3 of them say no, it's too confusing. You know, and absolutely, it can be confusing. You're absolutely right. You know, I'm not going to say that it's not confusing, because there are steps that you need to take in order for this to work. So, you know, it's like cooking. You know, hey Joe, go bake a cake. I don't know how to bake a cake. You know, it's too confusing for me. It's going to be a mess. But I need somebody to show me step by step on how to do this. And what we're going to have on our YouTube channel very soon is a tutorial of how to do this step by step, not only for yourself, but also for your patient. You know, how your patient's going to set it up on their phone, and how to connect to your patient, and make these adjustments. So these things are important. You need this information, and the reason why it's too confusing is probably because of that. You know, so absolutely, I think that telehealth is a necessary tool that we need to have, and again, the reason for that is because you know, patients, we might think that hearing is not important, or is not urgent, but for many patients, hearing is an urgency. Hearing is just as important as any other function in their body, and absolutely needs to have needs to be able to work. What do you think, Dennis?
Absolutely, Dr. Joe, as you said it correctly. So with the recent day coming of such communicable diseases, such contagious diseases like the coronaviruses and all, we've seen telehealth becoming handy. We've realized that it's about time that we thought about it more seriously than we did before, because you never know what the future could hold. We are hoping for the best. However, with such great technology as telehealth, still allow our patients to enjoy all the services that we probably could offer even as they come visiting. So even without them having to come to our clinics, we can still be able to access them from wherever they are, do those very critical adjustments whenever our patients need us, and just be there. Telehealth brings us close without bringing us close. So personally, I've had to do some telehealth sort of assistance to a client of mine that I fitted with a hearing aid and traveled to Australia. And as soon as they got there, they encountered a few issues. So all we needed to do is just to be able to set them up. And then we were able to do the adjustments, and then you set the adjustments to them, they accept it, and then they're good to go. It brings a sigh of relief even to you as a specialist, to be able to know that, number one, you've given that very needed, very essential assistance, and number two, there's a peace of mind that cannot be compared with anything when your client is happy. So for those of us who haven't tried it, it's about time probably you challenged yourself to doing it.
Dennis, you just said something wonderful. It brings us close without bringing us close. That is absolutely marvelous. You should be also on the marketing team.
Absolutely.
That's absolutely right. It brings us close without bringing us close, and that closeness, that digital closeness, is just as important. I absolutely agree with you. What do you think, Ava?
I think it's amazing. And I'm just looking at the requirements right there. These are things that as a professional, we already have. I mean, if we've been fitting Starkey, I see that we already have the Inspire software with us. We just needs to be the latest software. We have internet connection, most of us in our offices, and are using a computer that, has a camera, just like what we're using right now with this Zoom. And so I see that it is something that it's possible to do as a professional. And for your patient, I think as they are buying the product, as you are advising them on using an product that has 2.4 gigahertz, and that's our Evolv product, that's also our Livio's products. It means that they are going home with a hearing aid that already has that capability of using the telehealth or the remote programming service. And so we just need to advise them to have their Thrive app connected on their phone and have an internet connection, and they're good to go. So I think this is possible, and I really like the conversation, how it's going.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree with you. And there's also, let's be realistic as well. That's another thing. Not everybody's going to be able to use it. You might have a 85-year-old patient who might have difficulty using their cell phone because of cognitive issues, and maybe they live by themselves. So we might not force that upon them. We don't want to force it upon anybody. But it is important to involve the family. That's why families should always be with their patient. At least one person should be with their patient, especially when there are cognitive issues or there are technology issues, because mom might be 85 years old, and I can't bring her to the office every single time that there's an issues, right? Because it's mobility issues and other issues that might arise as well. So if I am able to connect to the audiologist and say, hey, my mom is having these issues, then we can have those resolved without actually taking her to the office. So that is a powerful tool to have. And yes, also back to being realistic. Yes, we need to have good internet connection. It can't be the that sort of broken connection thing. That the bad internet, it's not going to work. That's anything in life today. If you have all these technology in your home, but your internet connection is bad, then it's not going to be a good experience for anything that has to do with technology and connectivity. So yes, this is what we need. We need compatibility. We need internet connection. We need a webcam. Everybody has a webcam today, and microphones and speakers and headsets to make it sound good. But yes, absolutely. Very good.
Wonderful.
Any questions from the crowd? Any questions from?
We'd like to hear from you participants. Ask us any question. Doesn't have to do with telehealth or the edge mode. We're here to answer, at least for the next 15 minutes. We want to hear from you.
And just to add to the telehealth, people might ask, oh, so what can I do with telehealth? You can do everything. You can do data log and quick fit and fine tuning, sound manager. You can now do tinnitus and experience manager, memories, indicators, even the feedback counselor. You can do everything today. That before it was very limited, but we've extended these capabilities. So sometimes I've had some audiologists actually go to the home of the person and do the testing, and then order the hearing aid, send it to the patient. Their children put it on their ears, and and then we can do a first fit from far away. So absolutely. That's something that is possible. So the possibilities are enormous. We just need to take advantage of them.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So once again, participants, if you've been fitting hearing aids, Starkey hearing aids, we'd like to hear how has been your experience? How has been the fitting experience? Have you had any challenges that you'd like us to answer? would really like to hear from you.
Everybody should have their microphone on because
Yeah.
even after 20 some years of being an audiologist, I still have issues, sometimes challenges that are, scratch my head, and say, how do I solve this one? But again, there are tools and there are a lot of things that we can do, but there's also expectations. And I just quickly, I have a patient that's coming in to see me on Monday that has expectations that are just absolutely wrong. A 95-year-old lady, absolutely beautiful. I love her. She's very, very sweet, but she wants to understand everything and everywhere. And her central processing is very slow. Noise is a very big issue for her. Edge mode won't help her. She's doing great in acceptable environments, but she wants to be very young. She wants to have a young brain, but again, we have to be realistic and explain these things to our patients and have them understand that it's not only the ears, it's not only the auditory system, but it's also the state of the brain. How is the brain working? Is it working at 100 or is it working at 60% or even less than that? So just wanted to note that.
Rogers, did you have a question? I think I saw your mic unmuted.
Mr. Somebody.
Mr. Somebody.
There he is. You're muted, sir.
Is he muted? I don't think he's connected to the audio.
Oh, no.
Can you
Mr.
hear me now?
Oh, yes, there we go.
There you are.
There we go.
So you can hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, a quick one concerning edge mode.
Okay.
A situation where my client was running on the normal program. Now they had a situation where the sound was not clear, like my brother said, in a football club, and they switched on the edge mode. Now, the clarity was so nice that the patient doesn't want to move out of the edge mode. Do I let them stay in edge mode full time?
I would say if he loves it, I would say yes. But with the condition that they know that the battery is going to be, how do you say this in English?
Wear out faster.
There we go. I'm thinking in Spanish. Sorry about that, but it wears out a lot. So, but if it's a rechargeable hearing aid, there really shouldn't be an issue, as long as they recharge it every single day. If it's a battery powered hearing aid, then it might be an issue. But as long as it's rechargeable, that's why I love rechargeable hearing aids, because these demanding programs like edge mode can be handled by the rechargeable hearing aids. The only tool that we have that might not have a full day use would be like a cross system. A cross system is using transmission all day long and might last maybe about 9 to 11 hours. So, but edge mode is not an issue. Edge mode is absolutely okay if they want to use it all day long, as long as it's rechargeable.
Perfect.
Yeah,
awesome.
Absolutely. I think I would do the same as well. I would, if the patient loves it on edge mode, they want to enjoy the edge at the entire time, I would let them have it. Because the whole idea is to make sure that the patient gets the most out of their hearing aid. So if that's how they are able to get it, it's theirs at the end of the day. I would let them enjoy it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, I have one question here on the Thrive app. I want to give to our guru.
All right.
Dennis is a guru for the Thrive app.
Yes.
What would you tell us about the connectivity right now with the Thrive app? How easy has it become? And what are these compatible phones? And what's the process right now? Maybe you can just...
So thank you very much, Eva. They say iron sharpens iron. So it's always delightful to be able to learn from each other. And a great thank you to our esteemed friends here who are joining us from wherever you're joining. So whenever we talk about the app, we ask ourselves, what is it? It's to begin with, it's an app. It's Starkey made for Starkey work, for Starkey function. The Thrive app enables the patient, your clients, to be able to get the most out of their hearing aids. And this they do because you're giving them the power to be able to manipulate the hearing aids in whichever way they want. Just like Mr. Sambai has mentioned, if a patient loves their hearing aid on an age mode, the app, the Thrive app, will be able to give them even easy access to turn it on and back off. That is in case they want to turn it back off. But then you giving them such an option, they're able to manipulate and have the best experience with their hearing aids. So Starkey hearing aids, the AI class of hearing aids, that's the Livio AIs, the Via AIs, the Evolv AIs, are all compatible with the Thrive app. Thrive app basically is powered by the 2.4 gigahertz technology, which is the usual Bluetooth here sort of technology. So any phone that has the 2.4 gigahertz, or rather the Bluetooth technology, should be able to connect with the Thrive app. So most phones, you realize that for the Androids, it should be around version 7. Androids are compatible with the Thrive app. Most iPhones, with iOS, iPhone operating systems, so from 14, 15, and 16, should be able to easily connect to the Thrive app. And this one is available with iPhones from iPhone S5, iPhone 5S, to the premium one. I don't know what the latest one is right now. Is it 15 or 16? I think it's 15. Yeah, technology is running pretty fast. And at Starkey, we are doing our best day in and day out to make sure that we are running with it just as fast as it is running. So your patient might ask you, so now that you've mentioned to me about this app with our Starkey hearing aid, so what are some of the benefits that I probably stand to gain in using this app? So the benefits are myriad. There are so many benefits. Number one, the patient will be able to track their battery use. They'll be able to see the percentages in their hearing aid batteries. The other thing with the Thrive app, we have what we call a Thrive score. We have come to realization that a hearing aid should not just be giving amplification. The hearing aids should be able to be healthable. With Starkey hearing aids, our hearing aids, we are able to monitor both our body and brain activity. And with a Thrive score, a patient is able to enjoy this feature because they're able to track how many steps they make in a day. They're able to track the interaction with people, how their brain is operating, and how their interaction with people is. Because you realize that loneliness is associated with hearing loss. Most of the time, you realize that if somebody has a loss, not so many people are patient with them. So sometimes through the app, the patient is encouraged to even interact more with people. And that one, as they keep the interactions on, they are able to monitor their brain activities through the Thrive score. Normally, it's graded within 100 for the body activity and the brain activity, so that at the total, it's around 200. So that aside, among some other benefits that are probably enjoyed by our clients as they use the Thrive app, in case the hearing aids are lost or stolen, they can be able to track their hearing aids through the app. In case they are enjoying the premium class of technology, where they can be able to enjoy translation. You realize that Starkey hearing aids can translate up to around 27 languages. They can also be able to enjoy transcription. In case Starkey hearing aids can transcribe over 70 languages. In case a patient has their hearing aids and they're not sure what the problem could be with the hearing aid, sometimes before they can even give you a call to tell you that, hey, doctor, I think there is an issue with my hearing aids. Through the app, they can be able to run a self-check. They can be able to self-diagnose what the problem could be with their hearing aid. While they do this, they can be able to know what the problem could be with the receiver, the circuits, and whatever, the hearing aids entirely, before they can even call you. So it reduces the burden of you having to start from scratch to tell them, hey, check your receiver, hey, check your microphone. So all that typically adds up to the summation to the fact that they will be able to get the best out of their hearing aids. They'll be able to enjoy whatever there is that they can get out of their hearing aids. So sometimes a patient will come and ask you, so doctor, which hearing aids are compatible to Thrive App? Like I told you before, all Starkey hearing aids that have the artificial intelligence embedded, technology embedded in them can be able to connect to Thrive. So I would love to hear your Thrive experiences, and probably if there are any questions that you could probably have encountered in the process of using the app, this is the time.
Great. Thank you,
Not
Dan.
just a quick one.
Sorry.
Not to down the fact that there couldn't be limitations. So sometimes a patient will ask you, the curious type will ask you, so doctor, what are some of the limitations that I could have while using the Thrive app? The number one thing that probably you could tell them is that the app is not compatible to the older technology of hearing aids. And you can as well give them a solution. Tell them that now, if you want to enjoy the best that comes with this app and this technology, please update to the newer versions, the newer technology of hearing aids, the Evolv AI class of hearing aids. There you go, Eva.
All right, thank you, Dennis. We have just 3 more minutes. Maybe just to conclude on the Thrive App, I would want you, the professionals, to make sure that you, first of all, understand the Thrive App, and make sure that your patient is also very comfortable with the tuning and the programming of the hearing aid before you now introduce the Thrive App. And when you're explaining about it, we just make sure that we use clear and concise language whereby they can be able to easily understand. So we have one question that I'd like us to answer from Paulina, and this is concerning the telehealth. She's asking, is there any special app for it, and how can one access this? What we said, Paulina, is that telehealth is integrated within our Inspire software, where you can be able to access it for your patients, those who have the 2.4 gigahertz technology. That's with all our Livio AIs, the Livio, and also the Evolv AIs. We could also go through it. We could reach out to you, Paulina. We could help you. We could have a training session with you and just take you through step by step how you can initiate that telehealth programming for your patients.
Yeah, I was going to mention that if you have any training needs,
yeah,
the Starkey Africa Team training team is ready for you. So contact Ava, contact Dennis, and set up an appointment. Set an appointment to. It can be half an hour, it can be an hour, it can be whatever time that you need. Various sessions, and again, we're going to start populating our YouTube channel with tutorials on how to do all of this. So absolutely. And just going back to the Thrive app just for a second, it might be overwhelming for a lot of people. Just to let you know, there's a basic version within the Thrive app where it's just turn volume up and down and change memory settings, and that's it. So for those that are technology challenged but they want control over the volume of their hearing aid, you can have basic mode, and we can show you how to do that as well.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Dennis, for that. So it's 5 o'clock. We're wrapping up, coming to the end of our session. I don't want to leave anyone behind. Do we have one more question maybe we can take?
I've got a question, and I'll
Yes.
put it up. I'll put it right here on the screen. Did you enjoy this webinar? Go ahead and put your answer there. Awesome. We've got some good answers here. Very insightful. Yeah. It's been a lot of fun. I enjoy working with my team in Africa, and we'll have a lot more of these. Let's get together and bring your coffee and bring your bottle or whatever it is that you want to bring. But we can absolutely do that. So here's the answers to our poll. Let me show you. Very insightful. It was a lot of fun. And the other one is, when is the next one? So it's gonna be soon. Promise that. Thank you again for having us. And we know that this hour is important for you guys as well as our customers. Thank you for sharing that hour with us. It's always very dear to our hearts to have you here with us. So thank you.
And thank you to Dr. Joe for your time, always revealing yourself. So our friends and clients at Starkey Hearing, we are not just about hearing, we are about listening as well. So we value and treasure your feedbacks. Please feel free to always drop your feedback. And thank you so much for your time. I'm hoping we will still be able to see you even in the subsequent webinars. Thank you.
Yes, check your chat, everybody. There's our friend Farah Hub has posted a link there. And then if you would be so kind to please answer, because that just makes us better as a team and bringing you the content that you need and want.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. We're coming now to the end. Thank you, Dr. Theodore. Thank you, Sambai.
Sambai. I'm gonna change my name.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Winnie. Thank you, Patricia, Boniface, Regina, Halima, Nahum, Victor,
Dr. Douglas Nyakundi,
Amran, Nzota, Douglas Nyakundi, Daktari. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for your time.
Winnie, Victor, and Sammy. Yes.
Thank you so much, everyone. It was wonderful to host you once again. We will have another webinar coming very soon. We'll communicate on the dates next month, and we'll be glad to host you again. Do keep in touch with us. We do have our training lines. We'll share our contacts here. We also have our email addresses. Please feel free to reach out to us for all your training needs on product and technical training. So thank you so much. And we've come to the end of our session. Do have a lovely evening, a lovely day, and God bless you all.
Thank you. And don't forget to drag my body from Mount Kilimanjaro in February. Take care, everybody.
Yes.
Bye.